Hello and welcome to the Night Perch here on Fullerton College Television. My name is Jewel and I will be your host this evening. Tonight we trek through a maze of horrors, and to help guide us, we have a monster that lives to terrify. Scare actor Emily Murphy. Emily, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking. Now, how long have you been a scare actor?
I have been a scare actor for 3 years and running.
Oh wow, 3 years and running. That's awesome. What roles have you played?
I have played a stunt actor, a banshee in Bloodline, a daybreaker in Bloodline, and then also a spider in Widows, the newest maze here at Nuts.
Oh wow. Was that like one monster for each 3 years?
Yeah, I did have to drop down from the banshee role, unfortunately, just because of the stress and strain of the role, but it was a good time nonetheless.
Yeah, what exactly did you do in each of those roles?
Well, Banshee is a harnessed role, so basically you're in a stunt position where you have to put on a harness and you are hanging from a rig that's high up off the ground, and you'd basically fly from one end of the hallway to another end of the hallway. They've used this stunt in previous mazes throughout the years, but that's that one. And then I did Daybreaker, which was a grounded makeup role. And then lastly, I did Widows as a spider. That was a masked role. So they're all different.
Yeah, definitely a variety of different roles. What was the harness like? Was it like hard to get into at all, or?
No, it was pretty easy to. You would do that in the break room and then basically go into the maze and clip up. But you were doing it in the dark, so it was kind of difficult. And you'd trade out between 2 other banshees, so that way you never had to be up there for a long amount of time.
Well, that sounds pretty good. It looks like you had like a good switch off role and everything, and
yeah, it was nice until I started getting black bruises on my hips, and I just couldn't handle it anymore. So that's when I dropped down to the floor role, which was more pedaled, scripted things. But I still had my chance to scare people and act out a character, which was a lot of fun.
yeah, for sure. Did
Yeah.
anyone have a like really surprising reaction?
When I was in Widows, I did get punched in the face. That was a lot of fun. This kid, I was in something we called a boo hole, which was basically a little hole that you hide in the wall and then you pop out to scare people. And when I popped out, he did smack me straight into the side of the head. And after he did that, he looked at me in such surprise and then just booked it out of the maze. It was
Oh my gosh.
hilarious, but it did hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you ever like, first of all, yikes. Would you ever like tone it down for certain people, like kids or?
Oh yeah, definitely for children, like small little kids. If it was like their first time going through a maze, I'd normally get on their level and then give them a high five or a knuckle bump or something like that, just to keep them happier in the mood so that they're invested rather than like terrified out of their guts, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And did you have like certain techniques for some people or?
A lot of my technique for Widows was a lot of stomping because I was a non-speaking role. So, and also you're wearing a mask so nobody can really hear you through it. So I would basically just pop out and then slam my feet down on the floor as hard as I possibly can to make a loud thumping noise, and it would normally scare people, like once I scared Rob Zombie. Actually,
Oh my gosh.
that was a lot of fun, and it was really cool to see him because you get a lot of celebrities throughout it.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, did you know that most deaths statistically occur in the home during a commercial break? Really? Yeah. We'll be right back.
international delight. Let's get pumpkin spicy.
Welcome back to All Those That Survived and Those That Didn't. Emily, why do you think people like being scared?
Well, I definitely think it's a feeling of wanting to get scared while also being in a safe environment because you know people aren't going to touch you. And of course, Not Scary Farm is one of those environments that the actors are not allowed to touch you, as well as people aren't allowed to touch the actors. But you do have those scare forces that you can go to that will risk being touched. I know that 17th Door is one of them, where you have to sign a waiver. They'll like tase you, put bugs on you. It's pretty wild. I've never gone to it myself.
That is quite extreme, and that does sound like a lot. But for you, it was mostly just like you mentioned the boo hole earlier. That was just you popping out, stomping your feet, which all sounds still very extraneous.
It is. You have to be very active in the role. You have to move around constantly. You're scaring lots of people. You can't always scare everybody because basically it's a conga line through the mazes half the time. So you barely get any time to step out of the maze to grab water and such. So you're basically constantly moving. The people do not know how sweaty you get inside those mazes, and it's actually a problem when it comes to hygiene with some of the monsters. So. Ooh. Yeah, we try to remind everybody to bring deodorant and stay clean during the course of the season.
Make sure hygiene is kept. Yeah. And what made you want to become a scare actor?
Honestly, job opportunity. I had gone to a convention, a horror convention, where I heard somebody named Forrest speak at a panel, and he talked about how you can create your own character as a scare actor to go mainly on streets. I'm mainly a maze monster, but you make your own character and you can basically play this role out on the streets, and I thought it was super fascinating, so I signed up to be a scare actor and got into Bloodline. And honestly, that was almost like a streets role because I could just do whatever I wanted with the character that I had.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of that, what's the best part of the job for you?
Oh man, that's a hard one. I guess getting a good reaction out of people. You can get some really good ones. I know I had a friend who made somebody pee. That was, they had to stop the maze because of that.
Oh no.
And then I also had, I have floored many people, so that basically means you jump out and scare them, or you do something that scares them, and they basically just drop to the floor. And it's one of the most rewarding things about the job. It's a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, that does sound super fun. Is there anything particular that surprised you about it?
Ooh, sometimes you get famous people walking through, like I said, Rob Zombie earlier. I had this, last year we had a drag individual come through with a camera crew, and I don't remember her name, but she's pretty popular at the moment, and that was a lot of fun to just see, like, to be able to scare some really famous people, and that's always enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Did you get a lot of celebrities that came through?
We get quite a few. I know that Robin Williams came through one year, but I did not see him, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you weren't working during that time, were you?
Probably. You do get days off, and you do have, your regularly scheduled breaks and lunches. So you don't get to see everyone all the time. But scaring family and friends is also fun, because they're like, I know you. And I'm just like, you do, but I cannot break character.
You're like, I must stay stoic and spooky.
Yeah, exactly. You really gotta believe your role to play it well.
Absolutely. Do you still enjoy the scare mazes now that you're familiar with how they work?
Yeah, I think every single role brings you different opportunities, different ways to scare, different opportunities to try new things, because playing a vampire one year is different than playing a
absolutely.
spider.
Well, thank you for taking the time out of your night to give us the perspective of a monster from the maze, and thank you all for joining us this evening on the Night Perch. We'll scare you next time here on FCTV.